Hello students, in this lecture 15 of calculus of variations, we are going to discuss about the computation of eigenvalues, minimum eigenvalue of a boundary value problem using the Rayleigh method. So before the computation, I would like to discuss the concept of eigenvalue of a boundary value problem. Then certain illustrative examples there, and then the exercises for the practice. You see, the concept of eigenvalue, you must have heard in your undergraduate classes that in linear algebra, if we have a square matrix, then this lambda is said to be an eigenvalue of the matrix if there exists a non-zero or non-trivial solution vector x for a homogeneous system of simultaneous linear equations such that ax equal to lambda x. And x is non-zero vector here. Here this x is called the eigenvector or the characteristic vector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. Now, the concept of eigenvalue can be discussed in related to a boundary value problem. How the eigenvalue can be talked about a boundary value problem. So it is important to recall here that in order for a lambda to be an eigenvalue, we had to able to find a non-zero solution to the equation, a non-zero solution to the equation. Consider a boundary value problem of the form this, and here in the boundary value problem you can see this these are the boundary conditions, and this is the boundary value problem. Now this boundary value problem can possess trivial or non-trivial. Non-trivial means non-zero solutions, and trivial means the zero solution. The values of lambda that gives the non-trivial solution for the above boundary value problem are called eigenvalues of this boundary value problem. So now we are going to compute the minimum approximate eigenvalue of a given boundary value problem. For this, we discuss this illustrative example. Find approximately the smallest eigenvalue lambda of this boundary value problem whose boundary conditions are given. We denote it as 1. However, we are denoting in solution also. The given boundary value problem is y double dash plus lambda y equal to 0, and we are calling it as equation 1. You may cross this. Subject to the boundary conditions y0 equal to y1 equal to 0. These are the boundary conditions. So as you know, in case of the Rayleigh-Ritz method, first of all we have to construct a functional of which this one is the Euler equation. For this, we take the functional this as the procedure we have already discussed in Rayleigh-Ritz method. So this will be the functional. Clearly, the Euler equation 1 can be obtained from this using this functional 3. Now, as per the procedure of Rayleigh-Ritz method, we have to choose the approximate solution that satisfies the given boundary conditions. And you know the boundary conditions are here, and this y at 0 is 0, and again y at 1 is also 1. So in the choice function, this yx, you can see if I put x equal to 0 here, then right hand side is 0. That means y0 is 0. The first boundary condition is satisfied. The second is if I put x equal to 1 here, then 1 minus 1 again 0, so y of 1 is also 0. So this type of choice of an approximate solution of the given boundary value problem is okay. So now we find the derivative of this. So we get y dash x equal to c into 1 minus 2x. Substituting the values of this y and y dash in the functional 3. Here we put the value of y dash and here y square, y dash square and y square. Consequently, this integral reduces to, this function reduces to this form, and here the limit is 0 to, limit of the integration is 0 to 1, that is equation 5. Now the next task is to simplify this integral. Open this formula, and we get this simplified form. And in this simplified form, what we do, we find the integration of this part. When we integrate it, c, because c is constant, you take it outside, and when you integrate this whole thing, you get this one, and the limits are there, 0 to 1. Substitute the upper limit minus lower limit, consequently we get this type of the situation. So finally the value of I comes out to be this. Now we are going to find the extremum for this, and you know, when I is the function of this variable c, because however c is constant, but to find extremum, this c can be treated as a variable here, and for the extremum value we can have this condition. The condition for existence of extremum is that the first order derivative equal to 0. So when you put this first order derivative di by dc from here give you 2c into this thing equal to 0. So from this part we have two things, either this part will be 0 or this c equal to 0. But if you take c equal to 0, what will happen? If you take c equal to 0, you will get here 0. That means we'll get the trivial solution. So this is not the case. We are going to find the non-trivial solution. Therefore, this choice of c equal to 0 is not correct over here. So we have to put the part in the bracket, the value in the bracket equal to 0. So here I have mentioned that c equal to 0 will give the trivial solution. So from here the value of lambda comes out to be this, lambda equal to 10. Thus you can say the minimum value, minimum approximate value of eigenvalue lambda is 10. Now we want to verify with the exact solution if possible. In this situation we can also find the exact solution for the given boundary value problem. Now how to find the exact solution? The given boundary value problem is this, and it can be written like this. In the right hand side this is 0. When we simplify this, first of all, actually this is now a linear differential equation with constant coefficients. So using the procedure, we have the auxiliary equation in this case is this. So d equal to plus minus square root of minus lambda. Now this lambda has three choices. This can be 0, or it can be greater than 0, or it can be less than 0. So we are going to discuss all the three situations, but first of all I am considering here that lambda is greater than 0. If lambda is greater than 0, then what happens? You can consider it as lambda equal to plus n square. When you write plus n square here, so in the square root it will be plus minus n iota. When this is plus minus n iota, so the solution of the equation given by this. Now apply the boundary conditions here. What are the boundary conditions? Y at 0 is 0 and y at 1 is also 0. So when you put x equal to 0 here, so this part give you 0, and when cos of 0 is 1, so in right hand side this is a, and in left hand side y at 0. But by the given condition, boundary condition, y at 0 is 0, so you write here 0, so a equal to 0. You got a equal to 0. Now put a equal to 0 here, so y x equal to this thing. This equation 7 gives the solution. So but again, how to determine this b? Now again apply the second boundary condition, put y of 1, so b sine n1, but y of 1 is 0, that is the given in the boundary condition. So now there are two choices, either b equal to 0 or sine n equal to 0, n into 1. N into 1 is basically n. So if I take b equal to 0, what happens then? Then when you substitute this b equal to 0 here in equation number in equation number 7 if you put this b equal to 0 here. So it is y x equal to 0. So again it becomes a trivial solution, but we are not going to have trivial solution. We want to have non-trivial solution. Only then lambda can be the eigenvalue. So we avoid this situation that b equal to 0. So we consider b non-zero. But when we are considering b non-zero, then what is 0? Then this sine n has to be 0. But you know, when sine theta equal to 0, the formula in trigonometry that sine theta equal to 0 implies theta equal to some m pi, and m is some integer. M is some integer. So in this situation, theta means here n, so n equal to m pi, where m is an integer. Thus the solution is given by y equal to b sine, in place of n you will write here m pi. So b sine m pi x. So this is the solution in this situation. Now using equation star and double star. What is star here? Star equation star is here. Here lambda, value of lambda is given, and in double star a value of n is given. Then when you put value of n in lambda, you get lambda equal to m square pi square. M is an integer. An integer, in fact, here we'll consider the positive integer, because we have already considered that value of lambda is positive, means greater than 0. And the least positive integer is 1 when you put m equal to 1 here. So lambda comes out to be pi square, and you know pi is 3.14. You substitute it here, so we get value of lambda this. So this is the minimum approximate value of lambda, that is the eigenvalue. So now the exact value, sorry, this is not approximate value, but this is the exact value, exact minimum value of eigenvalue lambda. And we already know the approximate value is lambda equal to 10. We have already calculated. So here we can say that the approximate value is very close to the exact value. So this type of choice is okay. Now further we are going to discuss one issue, that during the calculation or during the solution of this problem, there were three situations arises, that lambda equal to 0, greater than 0, and less than 0. So I have discussed this case only, lambda greater than 0. Why I have not taken lambda equal to 0 and lambda less than 0? So you see, I discuss here lambda less than 0 case. In this problem, we have not considered lambda less than 0. What happens if I consider lambda equal less than 0? If lambda is less than 0, you take it lambda equal to minus k square. Definitely, whatever value k assumes, the value of lambda will definitely be less than 0. So you can say this from the given equation, this auxiliary equation, because our auxiliary equation was d square plus lambda equal to 0. When you put lambda equal to minus k square, so d is equal to plus minus k. So when it is plus minus k, you can write the solution y equal to a e raised to power kx plus b e raised to power minus kx. Applying the boundary conditions, you get a plus b equal to 0, b equal to minus a. So when you put b equal to minus a here, so y is equal to this quantity, y equal to a into e raised to power kx minus e raised to power minus kx. Now apply the second boundary condition, y at 1. You put 1 here, so x 1 here, so this is like this, e raised to power, in fact you are putting here 1, so this is in fact k, and this becomes minus k, so k, and again this is minus k. So now again, because the whole quantity in right hand side equal to 0, either a equal to 0 or this quantity in the bracket equal to 0. If you consider a equal to 0, then what happens? If a equal to 0, then from this part, equation triple star, b is also 0. When you put a and b both equal to 0 here, so we get again trivial solution. But again, I repeat here that we are not going to, we cannot afford a trivial solution here. Otherwise, lambda will not be the eigenvalue. So therefore, we will talk about the second case here, that we will take this term in the bracket equal to 0. So 0. But if you look at this, it cannot give you 0 because e raised to power minus, this is k and k, so this 2k. It can be 0 only in the situation. This equation can be true only in one situation, if k equal to 0, e raised to power 0 equal to 1. But when k equal to 0, lambda equal to 0. So we cannot or we cannot have this kind of situation. So that way we'll say that a is 0 and b is 0. So therefore the solution of given boundary value problem comes out to be y equal to 0, and again we can say this is the trivial solution. Why this trivial solution is occurring? This is occurring because of our this choice lambda less than 0. The similar situation will happen if you consider lambda equal to 0. So therefore you can say this is appropriate choice when you consider lambda greater than 0 and the solution coming in this way, and the minimum value of eigenvalue is lambda equal to 9.870. This is the exact value, and lambda equal to 10 was the approximate value. Now the second example. In this example, I'm not going to discuss the more details of the calculation part. You just you can do like the first example. So the main points I'm going to write here. So this is the boundary value problem, and these are the boundary conditions. Now the first step, we have to construct a functional of which this equation is the Euler equation, and the functional will be this in this situation. 3 is the functional of which 1 is the Euler equation. Again, what is the next step? Our next step is the choice of approximate solution. So here we consider the approximate solution like this, y equal to c x minus x square, because choosing this solution these conditions will be satisfied. Y dash equal to this. Now substituting the value of y and y dash in this equation, and then simplification gives you the value of lambda equal to 15. So we can say the minimum approximate value of eigenvalue or boundary value problem 1 is 15. Now in this problem there is one issue. Here I have not verified it whether this approximate value of lambda is okay or close to the exact value. I have not verified it here because in this situation the calculation, or you can say the solution, becomes a bit complex. So you no need to do this kind of verification. So simply if you have this type of complex calculation in this, first of all, the procedure to solve this type of equation, because this is the linear differential equation, but it is not with the constant coefficients. This is with the variable coefficients. There are certain methods due to which we can solve. So details are not there, so you can skip the verification part here. So simply you calculate the approximate solution. And here are the exercises based on these methods. The first exercise here, this is again related to Rayleigh-Ritz method. You just have to find value of yx here using the Rayleigh-Ritz method. This is the same problem, this is same problem, and this one is the problem of finding the eigenvalue. This one is the problem of finding the eigenvalue. Again, this is again for finding the solution using Rayleigh-Ritz method. So you can try this exercise, and the exercises are taken from this book. Thank you.